Hello, this is Gautam. Welcome back to my channel. Azure Application Gateway is a web traffic load balancer that enables you to manage traffic to your web application. But it's not just load balancer, it's packed with features designed for modern web applications from SSL termination to custom routing rules, web application firewall integration, and much more. Throughout this video, I will guide you through setting up your first Azure Application Gateway. Before jumping into the process, let me show you the website which I have deployed in a Windows server with IIS. So basically this is the .NET framework web application. I deployed it in IIS Windows web server in the port 8086. So I have deployed two applications, one with a path ASP and another one is path ASP dev. So I have two web application here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to apply the load balancing solution for this web server using Azure Application Gateway. So let's hop into Azure portal, and here you can get into this screen by searching for Application Gateway. Something went wrong. Let me log in once again to Azure portal, and here click on Application Gateway and you will end up into this screen. Here click on create to create a new application gateway. So under this basics section you will find all these basic option. Here let's start with subscription. So I'm using my dev subscription here, and the resource group I'm just going to pick my existing resource group called learning. If you don't have any resource group, you can create a new resource group as well. And here I'm just going to name my web application, which is app gateway dash GOW. So region, tier, all other option I'm just going with the default value. And here the virtual network section, here we need to pick our virtual network, which is I'm going to pick VNet1. This is my existing virtual network. If you don't have any existing virtual network, you can create it from using this create new option. And it also mapped the subnet, so I'm good with the subnet. The next step is configuring the front end. So here we need to configure our the IP address. So I have an existing IP address here, so I'm going to pick this. And the next step is backend. So backend, here we need to create a new backend pool. Just click on add a backend pool. I'm going to name it as app gateway backend pool, and here I'm just going with the default value, which is no for add backend pool without a targets. And here I'm going to we have a option like IP address or fully qualified domain name for the target type, virtual machine scale set, and app services. So if you have a virtual machine in Azure, you can directly use this option. Here I'm just going with IP address. Since I don't have a fully qualified domain name for this web server, I'm just going with IP address of this. We copy paste here. Yes, and click on add. And next step is configuration. So we are already configured a public IP for the front end, and a backend pool also we have added. Now we need to add a routing row. So I'm going to name it as a gateway routing row. Priority I am just going to set it as 1. Listener name I'm going to give it as listener01. A front end IP protocol, front end IP is public, and the protocol which we are using is HTTP. The port is 80, and the listener type is basic. And the backend targets, So let's pick the backend pool for the backend target and the backend settings. Since we don't have a backend settings, let's create a new one. I'm going to name it as app gateway backend setting, and the backend protocol it's HTTP, and the backend port it's 8086. Just going to give that port number 8086, and rest all I'm just going with the default value. Click add. Here we have one more option called path based routing. So I'm going to create a separate video for this path based routing in detail. So in this demo I'm just going to skip this. Click on add. Next step is tags. So I recommend you to add a tags for your resources. So it's always a good approach to add a tags for resources. Let me add a value. My tag name is environment and the value is development. And the next step is review all your inputs and click on create. So now it's going to create a application gateway. So this may take around 10 to 15 minutes to create a resource in Azure portal. So now the deployment is completed. Click on go to resource, and here you can see the message which says the backend pools are unhealthy. So you can also check the backend health under this monitoring section. Just click on backend health. Here it will give you a complete detail about the issue. So yeah, what this is the detail of the issue. Received invalid status code 403 in the backend server's HTTP responser. So basically what it do, it's going to search for this endpoint, and this endpoint returns 403 forbidden access is denied. So this message is quite obvious. Okay, we need to resolve this. So for this we need to create a health probes under the settings section. Click on health probes and click on add, and here I'm going to create a custom probe for this HTTP, and pick host name from backend settings. No, I'm just going to mention my host name, which is nothing but the IP, and pick a port from backend settings, or else we can also give it explicitly here. And here I have a couple of path. Let me pick ASP, and the backend settings is app gateway backend settings, which we created earlier, and click on test to test the connection and regarding connection of the backend settings. It may take a couple of minutes, and yeah, now it says healthy. It's received a status code 301, and click on add to add this custom probe for the backend settings. Meanwhile, if you go to this backend settings, click on this backend settings, here you can see whatever the custom probe which we created, it's automatically assigned to this backend settings based on our mapping. And close this. Now we can check our backend health. Sometimes it may take couple of minutes to reflect here, but still it says unhealthy. So as I said, it may take a couple of minutes based on the refresh interval. So meanwhile, what we can do, we can go to this overview, and this is our front end public IP address. I'm just going to copy it and let me paste it here. Remove this IP. Let me try this endpoint. The domain name app dash gov.estus.cloudapp.azure.com. So which is nothing but the domain name of my IP address. And let me search for ASP. It's taking some time. Yeah, now it's successfully connected to my website. ASP, let me check for ASP dev. Yeah, it's connecting, and both the websites are up and running through our load balancer. So still I'm seeing this message as well. It may take us some couple of minutes. Let me check this backend health once again. Still loading. Yeah, now it says healthy, and yeah, we all good with the app gateway configuration for our Windows server. Yeah, now the message is also went off from our overview page as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's quite helpful for you. um, if you like the videos, please give a thumbs up, and share it with your network, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. Thank you.